Hello everyone, and welcome to this match between Jimmy on the left playing Desolation Row against John on the right playing Law Dogs at the London Sheriff events. Unfortunately, I didn't get many of the Swiss rounds, so I don't quite know what round this is. I think it may be 3 or 4. I'm not quite entirely sure. Cards up to and including Nightmare at Noon. I think IOUF was released by the time of this tournament, but I think... Oh no, maybe it was just about to come out. So none of the new factions, still only the original 4. Jimmy playing... perhaps a slightly off-standard Desolation Row. You don't normally see Alice Stowe as a starting dude. One, the expensive upkeep. There are other stud shooters out there with lower upkeep that would be better. John plays R&D Ranch, but he's playing what looks to be like a Law Dog bounty sort of deck. He's got the Moral Gel, so expecting to ace people and things like that. Tails getting a Pyre and Rover, so good opening from Jimmy in terms of stud strength. Should be able to run the Desolation Row job reasonably easily, especially with Andrew Burton boots on the first turn. He's really John's only expendable dude. He's using Androcles here to put a bounty on Angelica. He used Andrew's Grifter ability to put the bounty on Makayo. And I don't think it really matters too much where you want the bounties to go, or where you put the bounties. Jimmy with Makayo can move them around as and when he sees fit. So not too worrisome about having one on Makayo. He can move it to Alice or he can move it to Angelica. And even in this case, actually, he probably doesn't mind Makayo. He may want to transfer it to Travis because he's likely to be starting shootout, and that allows Alice to trigger her trait and join posses even when booted. Angelica moving to the town square. Maybe some sort of job. I'm interested by John's starting posse. It's not the usual Law Dogs sort of starting posse. Cards bounties for John. Puts him up to 3 control points already. 1 for R&D Ranch, Gomorrah Jail and Carter's bounties. And Jimmy may go and contest these just because he doesn't have a lot, but no kidnapping. So kidnapping Androcles with Alice and Travis. I can see a point blank there in John's hand. That's not going to be much use, and that's what strikes me as just a little bit interesting. He starts no studs, and yet he's got a point blank there. So Androcles on his own. Yeah, so he's got Clementine. So I think more John's sort of building up just a lot of influence and control points. I'm not sure he's going to be too aggressive deck. I can't remember his low ball hand. And what cards I've seen. So Angelica joining the posse, pistol whipping Androcles home. So that's going to succeed the job. John loses 2 influence there. He's down to 3, and very usual play from the Sloan gang there in being very aggressive. I think pretty much most decks, when you see an opponent play a Sloan deck, you've got to expect kidnapping is probably coming. Or something along those lines. So both players passing. Sorry, not parsing. Not thinking too much about some code work. So on to day 2, and that's perhaps the only thing I can speak about is kidnapping looks to be coming up in Jimmy's low ball hand. Is that he's got the 3 upkeep from Angelica and Alice, so he needs to. He wins the low ball there, luckily, and doesn't have to discard Angelica. And I think that really, I'm not sure going after Androcles. Maybe it's just difficult call up really, because you think, well, what is he going for with that Androcles? He's obviously trying to put bounties on people, but you're not too worried. So Alice doing Desolation Road job. That succeeds. John doesn't oppose that. She goes home booted. So control point number 1 for Jimmy. Both players now down to 3 influence, and no way for John to get hold of Jimmy's control point for the moment. So Jimmy, the only one capable of winning at the moment. But that's what he needs to focus on. Jimmy needs to be running those Desolation Road jobs to keep getting their income, especially with Alice. I mean, perhaps as we've gone for Alice, she's a good candidate there for running Desolation Road. Ramiro for John, some stub bullets and some influence. He's got a lot of, not like a huge income. Both Gomorrah Jail and R&D Ranch have no production. Only Carter's Bounties has any, but obviously you can boot R&D Ranch to get the 2 Ghost Rock. Not sure how many clubs he's running. Looks like he's on 6s at least. I can see fasten the draw in the discard pile there, and I think I saw some other things previously. But going back to what I was saying about Desolation owner Alice, she's very good in that you can bounty up your people. She can then join any posse, and it's 3 stud as well. I say confidently. I'm just now going to check that, make sure it is 3 stud. It's difficult from here to see the values. Yeah, 3 stud. So if she runs the Desolation road job, she can very easily. That's 3 money, which is a good up. Is a good production. You're effectively having a second home almost with that ability, or a 5 cost deed. So obviously, why you prefer to have some deeds out that, or to have a reduced upkeep from Alice. It's still with the Desolation road job. It's reasonably effective, and Jimi here being aggressive, I think it seems sensible. I mean, it's difficult to know that John in his hand has got a point blank, so if he starts a fight, he's going to lose someone. It'd probably be Travis at this point, with the 2 stud bullets and no influence. But a break rant from John. So Queen, yeah. So difficult to know, especially I mentioned on the Gamora Gazette forums. It's difficult to see what decks are doing just from looking at their low ball and their thing. When you're in an actual game, you can look through your opponent's discard pile. You can see, look, these values coming up a lot, or it's quite a spread value, so it's perhaps not a strong shooter. But both players passing, I think. John doesn't want to. Yeah, John's not going to be too aggressive in defending that deed. I mean, neither is in a position where they can lose at the moment. There's only 3 control points available to John. Yeah, so I think he's definitely running 6s, maybe queens as well. There's a Taking You With Me. Cheating full house for Jimi. That's what you always want to see in your low ball. Coach whip, Buta Romero. I don't think he should actually be able to. Oh no, maybe it's a legal full house for Jimi. I can't. No, it is a cheating full house. So don't think he should actually get to choose Romero there. That John should have got the choice, but we'll let that one pass. It's very easy when you're watching the video back and you watch it, especially as well from this angle of above the table, and you see the cards and you've got the time to analyse exactly what's happening. When you're playing, you're a bit more focused in what's going on, and all those things. You don't quite read everything fully to remember, or you probably forget that coach whip. If you cheat as well, you don't get to choose, and just those sort of things. Railroad station for John, so he's playing more deeds. So Alice is going to go and contest the jail. Yep. So R&D Ranch, yep, pulling in. Is that 5? Shannon Graves? Yeah, so I think it's definitely 6s. Oh no, sorry, Alice was just in the town square. So now she moves to Railroad Station. Interestingly, Jimi doesn't choose Gamora Jail. Perhaps the thinking is because it's adjacent to the home, John can move out booted. He can move out unbooted. And so Jimi wants to force some booting to run locations, but Railroad Station is not going to be too bad, even if it booted there, just because you've got the influence back. In a later turn, if there was a shootout, he could move back. But obviously now, if you want to get there unbooted, you've got to go into Town Square, which Jimmy's controlling well with both Travis and Angelica. Clementine's come out to contest Carter's bounties. So I think that's the right one to come and contest. It allows him to move Romero into the shootout if he wants. So if he wants some three stud bullets, or he can move Andrew in if he's got a fast on the draw. So Andrew going to the town square. That's surely here you just call out. Andrew, oh no, so it's Alice's ability only allows her to join when you accept a call out. So yeah, so Andrew goes off to the railroad station, not getting in control back at the moment. Obviously Andrew has no bounty, but no influence. Sorry, Andrew calling out Alice. Yeah, so he's got a point blank and a fast on the draw. So that's the point blank. Is it less than or equal to? I mean, you see here it's. Well, I'm trying to remember cards. It's precisely what they do. Opponent must actually with lower bullets. Yes, so point blank is lower bullets. So you'd have to, although fasten the draw would reduce Alice's bullets. So Alice goes home booted. And he doesn't want to have that shootout. Jimi obviously expects something is up, and he can always move back. He can go and contest that railroad station with someone and boot Alice back in. But the only problem there is that now well, so I don't think so. He can call out Clementine. That would send Clementine home and get the control point back. Which would, because at the moment he is losing Jimi. He's 4 control points over for John. It looks like he's got a kidnapping in hand, but it's this point in time in the moment the kidnapping is not helping. He runs the job. I mean, it's who would you want to kidnap? Jake would be, so only 2 influence over for John, but he's got plenty of money for paying for Ramiro. Travis off to the railroad station to contest. Well, basically, I think he's hoping for the call out from Andrew, so he can move Alice back in. Which you sort of wonder why you wouldn't have Alice just accept the posse in the first place. That's the So just going through Alice's trait. You wonder maybe he wants Travis unbooted rather than Alice. I'm not sure if John. So fasten the draw. So presumably reduce Alice's bullets. Yeah, she's down to 1 stud. Angelica joins the posse. Doesn't move. So one fast and draw there. So it's 3 stud for John. Against 2, 3, 4 stud for Jimi. So if they're both running strong shooters, that's fairly even. But I know Jimi and I play very regularly with him, so I expect it to be a very strong shootout deck with his Desolation row. John, on the other hand, from what I've seen, it's difficult. I mean, there's some 5s there, so 5, 6s and something, but 2 pair. I mean, there's 4s and kings for his 2 pairs. So Jimi wins that shootout by a long way. They all get a bounty. I mean, he's only 1 bounty short of more from Desolation Row, and so he's got both the Taking With Me and a point blank. So I think a very event-driven deck from John. So Andrew's booting 3 studs, so he can kill. So any of them can die to. Alice, I don't think can be one of the candidates here. Jimi needs the influence. It'd be game over if Jimi loses that to influence. So Travis is aced, and not using the Gamora Jail. Because Gamora Jail is discard, isn't it? It's when I wanted to use discarded during a high noon phase, not aced. It's always that one I forget. I always think Gamora Jail. Trying to play another point blank, but he can't. Andrew's already booted, but he is going to play, by the looks of it, Taking You With Me. Yeah, it's just really. Yeah, so. Yep. No, so Angelica's going to die there from Taking It With Me, but John, I now assume, is going to react with Gamora Jail and get a control point. So yes, so still 4 on the table for John. He's still on 4 control points, 3 influence to Jimi, and I think. It's got to call out Clementine. No, the problem is he's calling out Clementine now. So I think maybe either you send Makao. No, you don't want to send Makao to the Gamora Jail, because then just Jake moves there and that's game. So I think you want to move Alice. No, because you move Alice with the railroad station to Carter's bounties. Then you call out Clementine with that. Then Jake can only go and contest one deed, so then you put Macao onto Gamora Jail. No, that's no. I don't think you can move Alice. I think you've just got to take Macao. I think Macao has to call out Clementine, because Jimmy basically just needs to make sure he boots. So Ramiro coming in. So I imagine Ramiro's going to go and contest the deed, but that's now 4 upkeep for Jimmy, so he's got to win low ball next turn. So I think Jimmy's got to go and contest something. You expect the Gamora Jail. He's booting Ramiro to R&D Ranch. I suppose maybe he's trying to boot Jake Smiley there to put him in a bad position for a later turn, but everyone's unbooted. Jimmy's going to borrow for low ball, so he borrows again. So he's effectively got 1, 2, 3, 4 upkeep. Yeah, effectively got 4 upkeep because he needs to borrow 1. Yeah, so 8's there. Kings. I think maybe running Kings for John, and 6s and maybe 8s. I've seen a few 5s as well. It's difficult to know. I think he's running a lot of clubs and a lot of diamonds. Not seen too many goods for John, so maybe he's only running 3 suits and going for perhaps 4 values there, 5, 6s, kings and queens. It's got a fairly large discard pile now, so Jimmy, if he wants to, can have a look through, but Jimmy, by the looks of it, I think he is losing low ball at the moment. It was 2 pair against Jimmy's 3 of a kind. Not cheating John. So Ramiro dies, so Jimmy back down to 3. So 4 upkeep. I think it's should only be 3 there. Alice controls the railroad station, but John's sitting on stacks of cash now. So yeah, so I think it's still a case of, well, the problem is now you call out Clementine and Ramiro and Purdy's Palace, and that is gonna be an issue. So Jimmy can only get 1 control point effectively by going to Gamora Jail. So he gets 1 point from going to Gamora Jail, and yeah, and it's just, yeah, he boots Alice to get that from John, but yeah, but John's still got 4 control points. I think perhaps he's hoping for Clementine to call out Macao so he can join, but I mean, even then, you just, Clementine dies, or then there's still, I mean, Jake now just going to contest Gamora Jail, so that would send Macao there. I think I'm struggling to see if what Jimmy can do here. He's got no money. He couldn't run the job this turn. Wendy, and that's a whole load of problems for Jimmy, because Gamora Jail, boot home, call out Alice, send her own booted, and yeah, only Clementine calling out Macao could get Alice back somewhere useful. A lot of shoot actions by the look of it in Jimmy's hand, not going to help him. So I think it's tough times. I just can't see any way out of this one. Another different value for John though, 9. Not seeing any of those. Seen 6s, 8s, 5s, kings, queens. It's difficult. So yeah, so Jimmy, just nothing left there really to do. Yeah, just not enough dudes. The 2 dude loss from that shootout with the point blank and the taking you with me really hurt him. He's losing Ramiro as well for that influence. I don't think if he kept Ramiro there, he would have had too much hope, or too much he could do, because Ramiro would be boot anywhere from the R&D ranch. He would have the R&D ranch. and he would keep that. But yeah, just the lack of influence obviously is a problem for Desolation Road type ones, or for Sloan in general, and I think just not being able to run the job as often as he wanted to. It was a very quick expansion from John that really Jimmy just couldn't keep up. So thanks everyone for watching. I'm back next with a semi-final video. People were a bit camera shy in London, so haven't got all the rounds. Thanks for watching. Please do like, subscribe, all those other YouTube type things if you take your fancy. And I'll see you again soon. Thanks very much.